Hello, my friends, and welcome to Cemetery Mary. Okay, I was worried I had to censor this because it looked like she had a hole for an eye, but that's a rose, so we're fine. So we don't have to edit this out at the beginning. Hello, and welcome to Cemetery Mary. This one has been on my list because I liked the art of it for a very long time. I should say, it's been on my list for a very long time because I like the art of it. However, it's like, oh, this would be perfect for a spooky to see for Halloween, and now it's Halloween season. So let's start. This game contains themes and depictions of the following: stalking, kidnapping, strong language, mild drug, alcohol, and smoking, blood, murder, suicide, flashing images, and potentially loud noise. Discretion is advised. Oh wait, is it a history skip? I've never been to a funeral that I didn't enjoy. This is until very recently. And I wasn't quite sure how to feel. It was a beautiful service, and one they certainly deserved. If only I had come later if only it had come later in their lifetime. And maybe it could have been prevented if there wasn't a murderer in my city. That's what everyone's been saying anyway. The Blackwood Butcher. That's what they've called them, at least. It was hard not to overhear the rumors people said about him. Prefs? I heard they strike at night, in quotes. Can I change the, font size? Unseen text? I don't want to skip any of those. Display window, full screen, music's fine, sound volume's fine, character, I don't know what's fine. Let's see, preferences. I can't change the font. I love the save slots. That's wild. Okay. I heard they strike at night. I heard they only target one person at a time and don't stop until they're dead. I heard it's a ghost blindly seeking revenge. I don't believe any of that, of course. Of course, why would you? At least, not at first. But my parents did. And because of that, they didn't like me going off to the cemetery alone. Staying until it closed. Walking home by myself in the dark. Even though it was only across the street, these rumors made them afraid for my safety. Do you really believe they're real? I asked my father. I do, he answered. Are you really worried for me? My mother did not say anything, but that is to be expected. They thought I was a perfect target, but I still don't believe in it. Still, they were worried about me, so they sent me off to live with my aunt, uncle, and cousin. They don't live far, at least not anymore. They moved from their fancy home in gorgeous Hallen City? To a small little cabin in the woods. I never understood why, but I never really asked about it either. My parents felt it would be safer with them. I didn't want to leave, but every day I stayed it only seemed to stress them out more. So I went, to make them feel better. For the first few weeks, everything was fine. I barely left the house, barely went to town anymore. And when I did, it was always with someone. Taking all precautions to avoid becoming a victim of the butcher. But I still thought it was only a rumor. Even if the rumor of deaths in our community increased, I never thought that I or someone I knew would be a victim. Then that thing happened. To those two And for the first time I was worried. Shortly after that, my own parents disappeared. They weren't in the diner, nor could I contact them. Even the authorities couldn't figure it out. No one had seen them. Interesting. So there's a murder afoot. And this is all like the exposition in the beginning. But like, I'm curious. There's, God, we're the murderer, aren't we? Oh, sure. Some hot apple cider. If you don't have your snacks and your drink, I encourage you to get those now. You can pause and come back. But this seems like the kind of thing that requires snacks and a nice warm drink. It was as if they had suddenly vanished. As if they were killed off. I don't like to think about that possibility. Actually, well, there was also that other thing that happened. Maybe I should have told the authorities about it. Or anyone for that matter. But I was too afraid of what might happen if I did. I love this immediately. I don't love that. The talk. I knew I would fall asleep if I had sat down. Is it raining outside? It wasn't supposed to rain today. The light's on outside. Is Crowven out there? Better go check. Hell yeah! What are you doing out here? It's raining. You're out here. Where's Aunt and Uncle? Crowven, I finished dinner. Come inside. Where's Aunt and Uncle? Oh, different people with different voices. Crowven, quit it, Mary. How many times do I have to tell you? They went to hell. Okay. It's spaghetti. I used your favorite sauce too. Okay, I'll be inside in a second. Just let me put this out. Full aesthetic points. All the food is cold. Are you upset with me for what I said earlier? I know, I fell asleep after I made it, so that's never been a problem for you before. It still isn't. I'm just stating a fact, that's all. One of those types, huh? Other than that, we didn't say much, and dinner was very quiet. Oh, so what I said then mattered. It wasn't I couldn't come back to more than one of them. Ooh, I cleaned up most of it, but Crowven helped a little bit. After that, he went to go sit in the living room. Once I finished cleaning the kitchen up, I joined him, like usual. Normally after dinner, Crowven and I sit here together. We do something fun, right? We play a game on our phones together, or we get out a board game where we play cards, talk about our days if something exciting happened, but that's when Aunt and Uncle were still... Crowven's been in a pretty bad mood since. It's not as if I can blame him. I want to talk to him, but I don't really know if he's much in the mood to talk. What should I do? Attempt conversation. I like the people in the background. Very... I don't know. I don't know how to describe the vibe, but I'm here for it. Crow, do you want to talk about it? There's nothing to talk about. I still got my old therapist number, you know. Crowven, Ain't there a reason she was your old one? I know, but she was good at this kind of stuff. And I've been thinking about that, maybe. Shut up, Mary. Just shut up already. Can't I be bitter over it? Why are you trying so hard to rush me into therapy, huh? I thought you knew about this shit better than anyone, but here you are. I'm gonna stop being upset just because you miss me being all happy, smiley and shit. Huh. Not too quiet. Can't you just stop trying to fucking talk to me about it? Uh-oh. I'll get over it when I get over it. Maybe get your own life, and then you'll stop worrying so much over mine. Sorry. I think I ended up making Croven more agitated trying to talk to him. Oh well. After a few moments of awkward sitting, I went upstairs and headed to my bedroom. I didn't want to make Croven angrier than I already had. Then, I brushed my teeth, got changed into my pajamas. I stretched out on what you could consider my bed. The room I have in the cabin is nice. It's not like my room back in my actual home, but I've stayed here so long I've been able to decorate it a bit more to my liking. It's a pleasant room to stay in, even if it's not quite home. Of course, I don't normally sleep right away. I usually read a book or watch a movie on my laptop or lie awake thinking of every embarrassing thing that's happened to my life. But as of recent, I've picked up a different nighttime ritual. One that's nowhere near as pleasant. The text message I had received the days following my parents' disappearance. It was from a number I didn't recognize. Your parents are safe, it had said. I know I should have done something smart. I should have told somebody. That's straight up a skull with a wig, which is a little ooky spooky. I don't trust the angel. I trust the gerrymandered teddy bear even less. Weeping eyes. There's a word for this kind of thing. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. My face exploded. I'm sorry. Some hot apple cider to soothe my throat that exploded. just edit this part out. Just edit this whole part out. Okay. But instead, I texted the number back, and they responded to me. I've noticed that, other than the first message, they usually don't reach out to me. It's me who keeps texting them, hoping to find out what's happening behind all of this. Are you still awake? I am awake whenever you want to talk, says the mystery number. That's creepy. Are my parents are right? Will you tell me who you are? Are my parents alright? Yes. I'm keeping a careful eye on them. How can you be so sure you even have them? What if you're just trying to prank me? I feel like it's valid. Why would I do that? Because I'm hoping it's a prank. I'm sorry, it isn't a prank. I can promise that's all that. I can promise that it's all real. How did you even get my number? Your parents gave it to me. Why would they do that? Because they care about you. You must be lying to me. My parents wouldn't do something like that. I'm sorry. You don't know your parents as well as you think you do. What does that mean? Seriously, you freak me out. I just want my parents back. Please don't drag this out. I I just want them back home. You should get some rest. It's late, isn't it? I'll talk to you tomorrow. I don't like to text for too long. Until then, goodbye. Goodbye. They suggested that I get some rest. But how do they expect me to do that? I'd never felt more restless in my life. Even sleep. I knew I wouldn't rest. When I woke up the next morning, Croven had already left for the day, but that wasn't a surprise. He'd been staying up late and leaving super early ever since the incident. I think being home bothers him. I'm not surprised. Whenever I pass the diner, I too feel like not being there. It's not the same without Mom and Dad, after all. Despite the cabin being out in the middle of the woods, it really isn't all that hard to get back to... I did that myself. Skip the town. Outside of our cabin is a faint dirt trail. It gets a bit twisty at some parts. It isn't too confusing. It takes about 15 minutes to walk down. Maybe 10 if you're fast. At the end of the trail, there's a fence. One with a slated gap in it. And past the fence, there's a little community. It isn't big. A few trailers with a few people living all the way out here. Far from anything that's, well, anything. But there's a road here, and a bus that comes through. It runs through Blackwood. So whenever we need to leave, we take the bus. We take this bus. And then, after the end of a short trip, you're in Blackwood. It's a city I grew up in. And I always really loved it. I love how, if you look at any one object, it's really simple, but it conveys everything it needs to convey really well. That's a door, store, window, it's a building, you know? But, like, it's just a couple rectangles and call it a day. I like how they use their space and their shading to create dimension. I think they did a good job. And I always really loved it. There's the library and the local stores. And my most favorite place in Blackwood is the Blackwood Cemetery. It's got lots of trees to read under and the prettiest headstones I've ever seen. There's a mausoleum too. Though I've never been inside. Private mausoleum, you know? I don't know who it belongs to. Anyways, I always try to leave flowers when I visit, at least every so often. And I visit a lot. So I like to think it helps them, you know? Not feel lonely. And then after having spent my day in Blackwood, I come back home the same way I left. But I always make sure no one sees the way I came back home. Just in case, you know? Oh no. Despite the recent events, I too leave the cabin more than ever now. Croven is rarely home, and I don't like being here alone. I know I'm just being paranoid, but I don't like the thought that maybe the butcher could find me out here all alone. Even if that's the whole reason I'm here in the first place. Good freaking God. I really shouldn't be doing these games that involve lots of reading. I'm so bad at it. Alright. So, I go out a lot. I go out a lot now. I feel more comfortable surrounded by lots of people. despite how things may seem, I always preferred to be around people anyways. That's one reason why I like to go to the cemetery so often. There's always people there, even if you can't see them. Oh. After I got out of bed, I made myself a small breakfast and got changed into my favorite outfit. Crovin's gone, and the bus I take into town should be arriving any minute now. Where should I go today? She talks about how much she loves the cemetery, but I'm curious about the library. No, let's go to the cemetery. I went to my favorite place, the cemetery. The cemetery is pretty much the same block as my family's restaurant, and right next to it, in fact. All you have to do is cross the street, and it's on the same side of the road. I think my parents chose this location because it's good for business. That's what Mom told me anyways. People are usually hungry after a funeral. Huh. Man. Yeah, I suppose. Crying really takes a lot out of you after all. So, my family, no names, is Hispanic on one side, predominantly Hispanic on one side, predominantly Irish on the other. Big families, prolific families. If you don't know someone, they're probably some vaguely cousin. And the funerals are typically a ton of food, and actually, it seems effed up to say, but I like our family's funerals in that it's not doom and gloom. It's cracking jokes. It's remembering the good times. There's a lot of cracking jokes. Even, like, the speeches at the funeral are cracking jokes. Like, man, I remember this one time when they did this. Yeah. But yeah, food after funeral. We feast truly and deeply. The Irish side definitely drinks a little bit, a lot more. I think the last two funerals had an open bar on the Irish side. As you should, as you should. That's what I want at my funeral. No Jesus nonsense. Not to say it's nonsense to you guys, to anyone that is a follower of the faith. I grew up with a lot of Catholicism and then Protestant and various versions of Christianity in my life, and nothing skeeves me out more than going to a funeral for a person and making it all about Jesus. I find that personally uncomfortable. I don't like it. But that's a whole side tangent that's not related to this game. Well, loosely related. Anyway, crying really does take a lot out of you after all. I was always glad to live there because I really love visiting the cemetery. I'd like to walk down the rows and see who got flowers that day. That's what I do most days. Sometimes I pick my own flowers, just to leave on graves that look like they've been forgotten about. I'm actually quite known for the cemetery. Some people have even began to use a nickname for me, though I don't know how many of them even know what I look like. It's a furry! We found the furry, you guys! I'm sorry. When I arrived at the cemetery gates, however, I was surprised to see Crovin standing there with what looked like a new friend? Crovin? Mary? Ugh. Did you follow me? Huh? No, I didn't. You know I always come here. Yeah, but that's usually not until later. Why are you here so early? I mean, it's not as if I had anything better to do. Well, do you have to be here now? I'm kinda on a date. Oh, this is a date? I mean, it can be, if you want it to be. I'll think about it. Who's your friend? How was I supposed to know you'd be here? How's your friend? Who's your friend? This is Vasilius. That's what those letters are, right? It's not Vassals. Vasilis. Who was Vasilis? What's up, Vasilis? I dig your style. I met him at the arcade. Yo. Sorry, Mary, but can you please go? I just don't have the energy for this right now. Yeah, okay. Sorry. I didn't mean to intrude. I'll see you later. Later. See you some other life, Mary. See you some other life, Mary. That's a wild one. I left Croven alone. I didn't want to interrupt his little date or whatever. I especially didn't want to make him more mad at me. However, I wasn't going to let him stop me from going to the cemetery. I continued on past the gates and stepped inside. It seemed emptier than usual. It didn't look like any funerals were being held today. Would it be mean of me to wish there was? Yeah, it probably would be. Forget I said anything like that. It was a really awful thing to say. When nighttime rolled around, I headed back home. I slipped into my pajamas and headed to bed almost immediately. Of course, though, I couldn't sleep right away. I had someone I needed to talk to first. Good evening again. Good evening. May I ask you something? You always do. How did you know my name is Mary? I've always known. Huh? I've always known what your name is. Did my parents tell you, have we met before? If we did, you probably wouldn't remember. If. So we didn't meet? Take the if as a maybe. We may have met before, but would it make any difference if you didn't remember me? It would be as if we were meeting for the first time. That's weird. I'm uncomfortable. Any updates on my parents? They are fine. Will I ever see them again? Yes. Because I'm coming to get you too. I just need more time. Good night, Mary. Ooh, that's uncomfy. That's uncomfy. That's uncomfy. I went to sleep feeling pretty shaken that night. I tried not to think about it, but I'm surprised I was able to get any sleep at all. I'm surprised I didn't have any nightmares either. Uncle Cross? Look at him! Ah, my gosh, that smile and everything! I love him. Yeah, Mary? Uncle Cross, can I ask you a question? Sure thing, kiddo. Shoot. How do you lose your eye? Haha, Mary. Oh, it's fine, I don't mind. I might have double clicked, I'm sorry. I lost my eye in war. You were in war, Uncle Cross? I was. I won't get into the specifics of it, but it was important to me that I protect my family in any way I could. Do you miss it? My eyeball. Yeah. You know something? Not as much as I thought I would. I think I would miss you a bunch. I think I would miss you bunch a lot more. Aww. Aww. After I got out of bed, I made myself a small breakfast and got changed into my favorite outfit. Croven's gone, and the bus I take to town should be arriving any minute now. Where should I go today? The library or cafe, me thinky thinks. I'd thinky think the library. Because we're talking to our possibly disappeared, possibly dead uncle about his eye that is need for reading. I decided to go to the library. There's nothing quite like a good book. For realies. My favorite kind of books are mysteries. Not necessarily murder mysteries, but mysteries in general. In fact, I kind of prefer it when mysteries don't involve anyone dying. There's a lot less tension there, you know? But maybe I'm just too soft. I also quite enjoy manga. Especially the shoujo kind? What's the shoujo kind? I feel almost embarrassed to like them, but I find that they're cute and nice. And I like seeing characters fall in love. Yeah, a shoujo. Maybe that's what I'll try to find at the library today. I stepped into the library and began to make my way to my favorite spot, a tucked away corner in the library, right by a single window. Sometimes I spend an entire day in the corner just reading. I've even managed to finish entire books without leaving the library. I looked forward to doing something like that again today, but when I got to my favorite spot, I noticed a man was already sitting there. A man was already sitting there, huh? I don't know what this is, but I love him. I'm surprised, because usually this library is pretty empty. But this man, he's familiar. I've met him before. Yellow eyes. Alright, I'm intrigued. Oh, my apologies. Did I take your seat? Oh, it's you. Mary. Mary Anta? Yes? Ah, that's right. I remember you. From the funeral, right? Indeed. Do you remember my name? Reginald? That's right! It's a pleasure to see you here. I was hoping I'd run into you again one day. Uh-oh. Flags as red as our hair. Just everywhere. Red flags. Fucking bail. Oh? Haha, I hope that doesn't come off weird. You were just such a pleasant person to be around. You really brought life into that funeral. Oh, really? Thank you, I think. So what brings you to the library today? Oh, well, I didn't really have plans, so I thought I'd check out a book or something. Likewise. What kind of book were you interested in checking out? Be honest, lie. Well, lying's not really incorrect. So we were talking about a mystery too. Alright, be honest. Aw. I'm actually here to look for a shoujo manga. A shoujo manga. What's that? It's like, do you know what a manga is? I have an idea, but I can't say I've ever read one myself. Well, it's like one of those, but it usually centers around the romance between two main characters. And sometimes there's like friends or rivals, or but I really I like the comedy ones because you get cute jokes mixed into the romance. But sometimes the drama ones are really cute too, and they can get really intense. And haha, sorry, I'm rambling. I'm not good at explaining things. No worries. I think you did a good job. A shoujo sounds interesting. Perhaps I'll check one out myself later. I'm trying to be more open to new things after all. Anyways, what are you here to read? Me? I'm reading Manslaughter on the Disorient Locomotive. Instead of, was it Murder on the Orient Express? Manslaughter on the Disorient Locomotive. Oh, I've been meaning to read that one too. Do you want it done? What? Oh, no, that's okay. Please, take your time. Just, if you wouldn't mind, would you tell me when you're done with it? You know, so I could maybe read it after? I'm fine with that. Though, I've already gotten pretty far in and don't think I'll be finished by today. Do you have a cell phone? You have a cell phone, yes? Would it be alright if I have your number? That way I can notify you as soon as I'm finished. And, well, I'd like to try and be friends too, if that's alright. Oh, really? I mean, yeah, of course. Reginald and I exchanged phone numbers. I was shocked he even remembered me. But I'd consider meeting him again a pleasant surprise. And one I really appreciated. After our exchange, I picked a shoujo book from the shelves and began to read in one of the other spots in the library. I ended up liking it so much I looked for the other books and brought 2 or 3 home with me to read later. After I came home, had dinner, and cleaned the kitchen up, I began to my usual nighttime... I don't know why I think I'm done, and then click next, and I'm just... brain. I got changed the pajamas, brushed my teeth, sat on my bed, and texted whoever they are. Hi, it's me again. Are you there? Yes. You're still not going to tell me anything, are you? No. Can I ask you something, even if you won't give me an honest answer anyways? Okay. Are you the Blackwood Butcher? Would I tell you if I was? Are you afraid for their safety? Of course, why wouldn't I be? I see. Should I be afraid for my own safety? Why do you have them? I wouldn't put it like that. I don't own them, after all. Even if they are in my keeping for now. You're way too vague. Why do you even contact me to begin with? I thought you'd like to know about your parents. I'm only trying my best to keep you happy. You think I'm happy? Maybe not now, but you will be. I have to go now. Goodbye. Goodbye. After another frustrating and unsettling night of text messages, I got under the covers and tried my best to sleep. It wasn't easy, and I had a lot of difficulty trying. I don't remember exactly when, but eventually I was able to sleep, even if it was not peacefully. Dad? Yes, sweetheart? Yes? Is something wrong? Mama told me that Uncle Ray died? Did she now? Are we going to see him? No. You don't need to worry about that. I don't? But... Listen, Mary. Normally when someone passes, you hold a funeral for them, right? Yeah? The thing about funerals, though, is that they're for people who are worth remembering. Ew! That's a wild one. That's a wild one. So what did Mr. Uncle Man do? That's not... Interesting. The plot thickens. The uncle did it. It was a mystery all along. Anyway. Since it's morning, I'm going to end this one here. This feels like a nice stopping point, and I will absolutely continue in the next one. Hope to see you there. Bye, friends.